The Clinical Leaders Network was established 2 years ago in direct response to the need for an enhanced process for clinical engagement across the National Health Service. The reform agenda required the need to have clinical leadership at grassroots level, and often clinical leadership continue to remain at the centre as opposed to being in the periphery and the grassroots. So the Clinical Leaders Network utilise a unique methodology of action learning sets and was SHA based, and its main aim is to promote clinical leadership and clinical engagement through a supported process from the centre.
So making sure that clinicians are at the centre of all decision making and all of the processes.
Absolutely. I'd like to think it's placing clinicians at the helm of all policy initiatives and decision support processes.
And how does that network use the map of medicine?
The map of medicine was found to be a very useful tool to support some of the challenges that were being thrown across at clinicians in the National Health Service. There is common ground between several of the initiatives that are currently taking place. 18 weeks program, for instance, the choice agenda, for instance, increasing plurality of service provision and changes to commissioning. Decisions often are made with boards and at acute trust and at PCT levels, and it's about communicating those decisions to the practicing clinician at ground level, at the point of care. In the past, it's often been paper-based, and it's often been email-based, and quite often storage at the other end is often a problem. What the map does is uniquely, it's a tool that allows decisions made at different levels in relation to change processes and reform processes, encompasses it into one single unit by having a very flexible tool, which is what the map is, and bringing it directly to the clinician's desktop to deliver a service delivery that's effective, that's agreed upon, and that's in a form that's easy to understand for clinicians.
So is the map of medicine flexible enough for a practicing clinician?
I think the biggest asset of the map is, yes, it's a textbook. Yes. But it's not a textbook that'll go out of date and you need to go and buy another one. It's a very flexible textbook that's updated all the time. And wearing a slightly different hat, mine, with a role within NHS Connecting for Health, we're supporting the map with support systems that will ensure that there will be a national clinical reference panel that will be able to support the map and offer diligence to the content of the map itself. But no, it's a very flexible tool, and that's probably one of its biggest strengths, where it's not set in stone. You could have your own policy, you could have your own protocols agreed locally, depending on what services are available. So I actually think that's probably its biggest selling point.
With your national level hat on, what would you say are the main benefits of the map to the policy makers and to the policy deliverers?
From a policy maker's perspective, I think a tool such as a map can actually help steer policy. It could be as powerful as that. Because all of a sudden, here's a toolkit where every clinician is linked to, not just for feeding information to clinicians, but also to get feedback. And that simply makes it a powerful tool, yes? And that can influence policy. Now, remember, influencing policy is all about efferent and efferent engagement. The map offers both. So yes, to policymakers, it'll prove to be an absolute bonus and a boon to be able to help steer decision-making processes.
How does it help the commissioners, though, to make decisions about what they are commissioning?
The map allows us not to reinvent the wheel all over again. You don't have to start from square one. You can start from higher up because it's got all the evidence base there, and it's got what is considered to be acceptable processes, which are supported by the colleges. And so it gives them a head start to start with. I remember the time when I had to redesign the dyspepsia referral algorithm for my local health community, and there wasn't a consensus about what is considered to be current national guidelines that is acceptable to the local health community. So it took me about 3 months even to get a basic protocol put together. So if I had the map at that time, I would have said, right, this is it. Let's start from here and let's mold it to our local needs. So no, it's going to be a true enabler.
Dr Raj Kumar, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.